If you cut out the main event, this was a great show. Let's talk about NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your August 9th NXT review. Got a lot of house cleaning to get out of the way before we start. Go check out the annotation up there. Join the Q&A. It's going to be happening in September, I think, if I've got my dates right. Put your questions over on the last Q&A if you want your questions to be in the next Q&A, etc. Also, next week, we will, as usual, be doing the Tackle, the preview show for SummerSlam, where we're going to do the pay-per-view pick-em as we've been doing for the past little while. You guys seem to like it. The pay-per-view pick-em will indeed include NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, so stay tuned for that next week. Start getting your picks in order. Doing your rankings and all that sort of thing. Also, go back the past two videos. For any of you that have been living under a rock on Twitter and Instagram, know that WWE main roster sort of toured through Toronto the past week. I've had this week off work, which is fucking great. Went to the cottage in Wyerton for the weekend, came back, went to Raw, went to SmackDown, had a bunch of fun. Ended up both nights in really good sections with really, really good people, had a lot of fun. The shows were boring as shit. A couple quick highlights. I know I don't talk about Raw and SmackDown on here anymore for obvious reasons, but if you go to a live show, it's always fun in one way or another. You either have a good time because the show's good, or you have a good time because the show is shit and the crowd has a lot of fun. Let me say, on Raw, the crowd booing the shit out of Bayley with no remorse whatsoever was great. I don't know how it came across on television. You guys can tell me down in the box below. But Toronto, my fellow Torontonians gave zero fucks about Bayley. The section I was sitting in actually got a "no one cares" chant started when she came out with her sob story with the sling. Oh my god, how long and how boring was Ambrose versus Cesaro? I will say the tease of the renegotiation of the Shield was cool. I'll give them that much. But oh Christ, the last man standing match where Roman Reigns didn't win, even though Strowman was down for forever and ever. On the other side of the coin, you've got SmackDown, which was the same, dropping the Montreal Screwjob stuff a lot. Even in the dark matches, they were doing that. I had seen and heard, for those of you that do follow me on Twitter, that rumor about Sin Cara and Luke Harper being a new tag team, which is terrifying. If you've seen the picture going around, the luchador mask that Luke Harper is wearing is very, very bizarre. But no worries, he was teamed up with the Hype Bros in a 6-man tag dark match in Toronto. Oh yes. What else? Big pop for Breezango and the Fashion Files, and they didn't have a match, which was fine. Big pop, obviously, for Team Canada, Zayn and Dillinger. I'm sure Chase Oliver really loved that. It was really, really good, and I will say, the Lana-Charlotte match, and I'm not even going to troll here. Yeah, no, Lana's not that great, but the wardrobe malfunction for Charlotte was a lot of fun. It was really funny, and I really love when you got somebody like JD from New York trying to be Mr. Big Moral Standards. Oh my god, how distasteful is Toronto for cheering for a friggin' wardrobe malfunction. These are the people that used to venomously chant slut at Lita during the live sex celebration days, so kind of get over it a little bit. And who the fuck in Toronto was more over than Jinder Mahal? For those of you that don't know, Jinder Mahal is from Canada. Obviously, that doesn't play into the storyline, but goddamn, no love for Randy Orton whatsoever. Ambrose, going back to Raw, getting the Cena treatment, the "Let's go Ambrose sucks" chants going, and Jinder Mahal getting the Enzo Amore chant, the "Oh, Jinder Mahal," I can't do it, and you guys don't want me to try and sing, that's not the thing. The dark match for SmackDown was after 205 Live. I shit you not, and I'm not going to use this to cheaply shill my Twitter. If you're on my Twitter, you're on it, and if you're not, you're not. Let me tell you about the dark match being Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin's new music. Nobody else likes it. I do. Everybody can fuck off. But Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles happening in the 205 Live ring made me laugh a lot. And Jesus Christ, the building was half empty. Hard camera side. I was on the hard camera side, which means nobody cutting a promo or having a match or having a moment was facing my section at all. But what it meant was I was looking at the non-hard camera side, which was half empty. Not to mention the fact that the entire 300 section of Air Canada Centre was blacked out both nights. So I did have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making fun of the show. SmackDown leaps and bounds better than Raw, as I'm sure it translated on television. Lesnar coming out and beating up the Miz Taraj was also pretty cool. Miz and Paul Heyman on the mic against each other, that was kind of cool. It was a lot of fun. But as this long ramble is going to say, go back to the past two videos. I have posted some highlights. There's no order to them whatsoever. I literally opened up my video program, took all the photos and all the videos that I took of the show, threw them in there in random order, and it's just there if you want to see it. It's not special. They've got like 10 views apiece. I don't expect anybody to care. But if you care, they're there. Go have at it. Now that out of the way, let's talk about NXT. NXT is building towards TakeOver Brooklyn, and we've already got a bunch of matches that I'm really excited about. And as I said in my little opener there, everything about this show, other than the main event, was really, really good. Progress stuff gave us some decent in-ring action. Everything from the main event on can kiss my ass. Oh yes. Start off the show with Nikki Cross, no entrance. She's in the ring. She's kind of babbling incoherently to herself, you know, screaming off microphone, which is kind of cool. She's eventually joined by Dane and Wolf, and she starts screaming for the Authors of Pain to come out, which is great. Authors of Pain come out, also without any music, and all three of them, Akam, Razor, and Paul Ellering, kind of got this, what the fuck is this girl doing look on her face, and then they get blasted from behind by the returning Eric Young, which is cool. I would have loved to see Eric Young show up in a dark match at the shows for the last two nights. That would have been really cool, because all the Canadians got pops. It's so easy. It really, really is. I mean, you got Breeze, who's part of Breezango, who's from Canada. He got a pop. Obviously, the team of Zayn and Dillinger got a pop. Kevin Owens was over as fuck. Natalya didn't have a match for reasons. But yeah, it is what it is. There's a beatdown. There's 4-on-1 beatdown on Akam because they zip tie Razor to the guardrail on the rampway, which is great. They get Akam into the ring, boot by Young, and several running sentons by the big monster Killian Dane. Razor can't unhook himself from a zip tie, but he can easily unhook the piece of guardrail that he's tied to and make it to the ring, but it makes it hard for him to move around. He gets a 4-on-1 beatdown for his trouble as well. Nikki Cross runs out of the ring, grabs the belts, brings Sanity the belts, and they pose in the ring with the belts, looking all crazy. And right as the camera's about to cut, I don't know if this was supposed to be a thing or whether this was just something he did on his own, but Dane, with the one belt that he has, turns around and whips one of the guys with the belt, which is great, and it builds, it's that whole, you know, the only reason Authors of Pain have had the upper hand over Sanity is because Sanity wasn't a complete unit. Eric Young has come back. He is the guy that completes the unit. I don't know how you try to portray Sanity as the heels in this scenario, because nobody gives a fuck about the Authors of Pain, first of all, other than they're the Big Show equivalent in tag team form, but also the internet is a thing, and people know that the reason why Eric Young has been away for so long is because his mother passed away. Who's gonna boo him? I mean, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say that. All due respect to him and his family, rest in peace to his mom and all that sort of thing. But the internet is a thing. We know why he's been gone. Who is going to boo Sanity? And also, Sanity is a more entertaining element than the Authors of Pain. The best and most over thing about the Authors of Pain is their manager. They suffer from Blake and Murphy syndrome. but they're going to try and play Sanity up as these big evil guys, and it's not going to work. But the match is going to be good, and I really hope Sanity gets the belts at TakeOver. They replay the altercation between Ember Moon and Asuka from last week that ended with Asuka getting the Eclipse on, or sorry, Ember Moon getting the Eclipse on Asuka, and it was confirmed that these women are going to have a match at TakeOver, which we've known forever, and there's going to be a contract signing next week. Back to Twitter, huge shout out to the dumb fucks out there that are calling me racist because I said Ember Moon is better than Naomi. Think about that one for a second. I've got a little treat for you guys at the end of this video. Oh yes, I do. Sticking with the women, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are shooting some sort of, I don't know what they're doing. They say they're trying to shoot a tutorial of some kind, but they're doing it with the whole like cell phone camera gimmick. And Ruby Riott is in the very far distance. They start making fun of her for her tattoos and how like she's not beautiful by their standards, and they start bullying Ruby Riott, but it doesn't make sense because she's too far away for them to hear, them to be heard, and she doesn't react. So Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are bullying Ruby Riott. Right here in my notes. ... For reasons. The Street Profits made their debut, but I have to talk about something else first, because the Street Profits made their debut against the Metro Brothers. Anybody that lives in 2017, listen to that name for a second, the Metro Brothers, and tell me that WWE/NXT are not going to have a really big problem with fans having a lot of fun with that name. And it's, I don't know whether it's DJ or JD, but it's Chris, I'm going to say DJ because fuck it, it's Chris and DG Metro. Or sorry, Chris and DJ Metro. The commentators say that they were trained by the Dudleys, which is fine, and that they're scrappers like the Dudleys were, and that's fine. Or it would be fine if they didn't look like extras from Grease or a B-rate Deuce and Domino from back in the day. The Street Profits come out. We've been seeing promos from them for weeks. They got the whole red cup gimmick and they're doing the stir thing. They're a fun team. They're along the lines of, you know, primetime players, New Day, the whole fucking shtick. The crowd loves it. It's up, you know, the music's upbeat, the guys are high energy. It's all good. The match wasn't that long, though, because you've got Chris Metro and Angelo Dawkins that start the match. The Metro Brothers. If you don't see problems coming down the line for WWE with that one, I don't know what to tell you. But Chris and Dawkins start, and there's a headlock by Dawkins, shoulder tackle and an arm drag, and a scoop slam. We get a drop kick splash combination by the Profits, and a suplex by Mendez Ford, who's Angelo Dawkins' partner in the Street Profits. If I'm not mistaken, their names are Angelo Dawkins and Mendez Ford. If I've got that wrong, somebody please correct me down in the box below. Double team by the Metro Brothers. Let that sink in for a second. Clothesline by Dawkins, spear by Dawkins, tornado splash in the corner, and we got a pop-up spinebuster by Dawkins, followed by a bog standard splash from the top rope by Mendez Ford to get the Street Profits the win. I'm laughing about this because, first of all, it's a short match. Second of all, these guys are meant to be, I have to believe these guys are meant to be a fun gimmick. This is not a gimmick I can see going against the Authors of Pain or Sanity or even Heavy Machinery at this particular point in time. DIY, if they were still a team, which they're not, which is great. The Metro Brothers. I can't. I got nothing for the Metro Brothers. I really don't. Street Profits look like they're going to be a fun team. Fun mid-card. Whatever other team in the main event is not feuding for the title at that point will be feuding with the Street Profits. That's how I think that's going to go. We replay the altercation between Atami and Black from last week, and then we see that after the show they had another confrontation in the parking lot. So we get the earth-shattering announcement that we're getting Atami versus Black at TakeOver, because we didn't know that last week. Regal comes out to moderate the face-to-face conversation between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Roode. I will say, Drew McIntyre's music is epic. I like it. William Regal always looking frustrated makes me smile. Roode brings personal security to the ring, but it's not because he's afraid of Drew McIntyre. It's because there's a maniac named Roderick Strong running around in the back, and he's doing the company a favor by saving this money match that we've got happening at TakeOver. And then he reminds us that he is the money in this big money match, not so much Drew McIntyre. He bashes Drew McIntyre's first run in the WWE. Which doesn't make much sense because just last week, Drew was bashing his first run in the WWE himself. So, yeah. You know, it's all good that you're back. It's all good that, you know, you've got a second chance. You've had a rebirth of sorts, but I've never needed second chances. I came here and I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I'm the champion of NXT. I'm the new face of NXT. And by the way, this isn't your NXT or their NXT. It's my NXT. You used to be called the chosen one. I never needed to be chosen because I'm just the one. I like that line. That was good. Drew comes back and he cuts a pretty generic angry babyface promo. I'm not gonna lie, big fan of Drew McIntyre. The fact that he's brought into NXT the version of himself that he kind of created in TNA, as opposed to the nice, clean-cut, chosen one thing that he was doing before, is good. He gives Drew a lot of credit, says that most people would probably refer to him as the prototypical champion. He's had a great year, but you're a complete ass, and I pity you. I didn't think you actually believed all this shit that you're spewing. I now realize that you do believe all the shit that you're saying, and it's just going to make it hurt even more when I beat you in Brooklyn and it becomes our NXT. We are NXT. Rah. And then Roderick Strong comes up, but it's not a typical, okay, wait for the entrance music to hit and have somebody come out and cut their promo from the ramp like cookie cutter like WWE does. As soon as his music hits, Regal's on the microphone and says, no, Roderick, I told you can't do this. This isn't the proper time. This isn't the proper place, whatever. He says, I'm not done with Roode, and it's not about the title. It's about my family. I want to fight him if he's man enough. And then Bobby Roode. Explain this to me. Bobby Roode takes over the whole segment and says, okay, you want a match, and I know Drew's a fighting guy over there. How about I'll let you have a title match if you can beat Drew McIntyre? And then he sets up this weird, incongruous situation where on the go-home show, Roderick Strong takes on Drew McIntyre. If he beats Drew McIntyre, then he'll get a title shot against Bobby Roode after TakeOver. Now, there's a couple problems with that. First of all, you have to assume that Bobby Roode is still going to be champion after TakeOver. That's one thing. The other thing, if Roderick Strong beats Drew McIntyre, beats the #1 contender, should he not become the #1 contender? You beat the #1 contender, you beat Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre still gets to have the pay-per-view title shot, and you get the scraps afterwards. It makes no sense. And Regal does what he should do. He sits there and he says, you know, contrary to whatever you might believe, I'm the one that makes the matches here. And then Bobby Roode plays it up. He's like, oh, come on, we're all about the fans. We are NXT. Roderick wants to fight. Drew wants to fight. He wants to prove that he's worthy of a shot against me. Let them fight next week. Everybody wants it. The fans want it. Come on, Regal. Why don't you set this match up? I like it. It's good. Puppet Master, it was fucking good. It makes no sense the more you think about it, but the level of not making sense made it good. And Bobby Roode makes out like the cat that ate the canary at the end of this whole situation. It's good. Gargano's backstage. He's talking about being back. He's talking about all his memories of all the takeovers. He's never missed a takeover, and he's not going to miss TakeOver Brooklyn, because the Brooklyn fans are the ones that gave them the energy they needed to become tag team champions, and they're going to be the ones that are going to give him the energy as a singles guy. They're going to allow him to be Johnny Wrestling. He says, I'm saying it now, I want a match at TakeOver. Didn't say this to Regal, didn't go to the back and challenge a person, didn't go to the ring and call anybody out, but he proclaimed it with all the strength in his heart. I want a match. And that's it. And it's good. Little did we know where it was going to get us. I don't want to get sad until we get there. ONEY LORCAN versus Danny Burch, the rematch. And initially, I got pissed because I said the rematch of this match should happen at TakeOver. But this is kind of better. I will say this match, not as good as the one they had a couple weeks ago. Still very hard-hitting, very, very fun to watch. Very... I know I make statements like this a lot, but it shows when you've got two guys in the ring together that like working together. And I think ONEY LORCAN and Danny Burch, because their styles are so similar and their styles are so stiff, I think these guys genuinely like working with each other. So it shows. Collar and elbow tie-up and a single leg by Burch, takeover by LORCAN, and body blows by both men. Collar and elbow tie-up again, cravat by Burch, and a snapmare and a shoulder tackle and a flapjack. Both men trade uppercuts. There's an Alabama slam into the corner by LORCAN, which looks dirty. Can't read my own writing. Sorry, back suplex by LORCAN, chops in a corner uppercut, knee by Burch, a second rope dropkick, and a corner spear. Suplex and a lariat by Burch, and a Tower of London. He tried this a couple of times. He tried to do it off the turnbuckle, didn't work. The Tower of London, for those of you like me that didn't know that's what it was called, is where he sets them up with the feet draped on the ropes, kind of like when Orton does the suspension DDT on the second ropes, except he sets them up on the top rope and turns it into a stunner. It's a great move, and I guess, you know, him being from the UK, Tower of London, it works. Uppercut by LORCAN and a blockbuster. Now, LORCAN won with a single leg crab in their last match. So he locks in a single... This is probably the moment of the show for me. But he locks in a really, really deep single leg crab. But while he's got him in the crab, he's viciously booting Burch in the spine. And it's great, but he gets a little cocky, turns it into a full Boston Crab, gets reversed into a pin by Burch. Burch gets the win. They are tied 1 apiece. Now, what NXT has to do, I'm going to revert what I've said earlier. Now what they have to do, they are tied 1 match apiece. They have the rubber match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Now, they do the show of respect thing again. Burch puts his hand out, and ONEY LORCAN, obviously disappointed by the loss. He does it, but he does it like begrudgingly, like swats the hand away. But then he stops himself, and he sort of reevaluates what he just did. He turned back around again, and you hear even Danny Burch, man, come on, after those 2 matches, that's what I'm going to get, that's what you're going to do, da-da-da. ONEY LORCAN realizes it, reconsiders it, puts his hand back out. They have the show of respect that we've come to expect from these 2 guys, and it's all good, and they show respect. And Burch even opens the ropes for ONEY LORCAN to leave. It's all very respectful. It's all very cool. It's all very, I'm going to knock your head off, but we can still be friends at the end of the day. And it's very cool because they don't play that kind of story off very well in WWE very often. I mean, one of them's going to turn heel eventually, but it is what it is. The main event is No Way Jose versus Andrade Cien Almas. 2 of the I don't give a shit trifecta fighting each other in the main event. I have no notes for this match because I don't care at all. Conga line shit with Jose can fuck off. Cien Almas has the hot bitch, Zelina Vega out there with her. In her, I went to look it up because I didn't know who she was. I stopped the TV and I went to look her up. In her profile picture on the WWE Network, she's got the puddin necklace from Suicide Squad, so she's Mexican Harley Quinn, which is lovely. Almas wins. Nobody cares. They go to leave. But this Vega chick stops him at the top, goes to the announce table to get a microphone. Because, you know, there's not microphones at the ring or anything like that. Goes to the table, and she says, you know, this is the way my associate is supposed to behave. This is the way he's supposed to act. This is the spotlight he belongs in. There's no bigger spotlight than TakeOver Brooklyn 3. And if Gargano is still looking for an opponent, he's got one. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I get it. You got the jobber good guy, the jobber bad guy. You got Jose versus Almas tonight. You gotta have the jobber good guy versus the jobber bad guy fight each other. Okay, I get it. Let them go do it. Then they don't have to hurt anybody else. You want to show some charity and give them the main event spot. I swear to God, I thought we were gonna get a main event match on NXT 1 with that stupid wind-up baseball punch that No Way Jose does. But we didn't. We got the stupid hammerlock DDT that takes way too long to set up and is super fake, which is wonderful. So, you put him in the main event because you're trying to push him. Don't care. You put some hot bitch with him. I don't care. So you're going to waste the medical return of one of the most popular guys in NXT in an attempt to get Andrade Cien Almas, the guy that some people in the YWC still refer to as Mr. Stripogram, over at TakeOver. And what really terrifies me is I think they're going to put him over. It's bullshit. I was saying for the longest time, you guys know, and I'm getting repetitive in these reviews, I've been saying for the longest time, you got Gargano, super babyface. You got Itami, who just turned super heel. I said Gargano, Itami at TakeOver Brooklyn. Now you've got Itami versus Aleister Black. I'm okay with that. I really, really am, because those guys are going to kick the shit out of each other, and it's going to be a good match. It really is. Don't have any problem with that whatsoever. It left Gargano out in the cold. Who else are you going to put him up against? At this point, I don't care. Turn Cassius Ohno heel. Let Gargano kick the shit out of him for a while. It'll be fun. It'll be easy. Because, you know, he can't run very fast. But this is some bullshit. This is the bullest of shit. This is the first big misstep in the booking of TakeOver Brooklyn 3. But anyways, like I say, other than that, great show. We're building the women's thing. We're building the main title thing. We're building the tag team thing, because now Sanity is whole again. We've got Itami versus Black to look forward to. We're probably going to get Burch versus Lorcan. I keep hearing rumors that we're going to get another UK title on there. This is bullshit. If the takeovers had a pre-show, I would say put this on a pre-show, which sucks, because Gargano doesn't deserve to be on the pre-show, and Andrade Cien Almas doesn't deserve to be in the fucking company. Oh yes. Alright, that's it. I've ranted enough about NXT. I gave you my 2 cents on the Raw and SmackDown shows from this past week in Toronto. I'm gonna head out. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.
Oh, and Carmella with the kick and distraction there on Naomi. And Carmella